Across the rugged Indian territory rides a tall young man on a mission of mercy. His medical bag strapped on one hip, his six-shooter on the other. This is Dr. Sixgun. The National Broadcasting Company brings you another transcribed episode in the exciting adventure series, Dr. Sixgun. Ray Matson, M.D., was the gun-toting frontier doctor who roamed the length and breadth of the old Indian territory. Friend and physician to white and Indian alike, the symbol of justice and mercy in the lawless West of the 1870s, this legendary figure was known to all as Dr. Sixgun.
The territory is not a particularly light-hearted place. It is a land of blood and death and much misfortune. But it has its moments of gaiety, and most of them bottled and served over the bar at the nearest saloon. Of course, I am invariably light-hearted, but then I am an exception. For I am Pablo, the gypsy peddler. And this is my friend Midnight. He is a raven, but he is no ill omen. Thanks on the house. Also, he is an optimist. In the territory, there is laughter and gaiety. But sport, in the sense of the East, is notoriously absent. For example, if you ask the average citizen of the town of Frenchman's Ford what was the great American game, he would answer buffalo and complain that the shooting was bad this year. But there was a time when sport reared its ugly head in the territory, and I was there when it started, sitting with my friend Doc Sixgun at his table at the Bull Run Saloon.
What's the celebration all about, Pablo? You look happy.
Oh, I am. I have just unloaded a pack full of needles and pins and bowie knives on the unsuspecting populace. And I am rapidly transferring the profits to O'Shea behind the bar. Will you join me?
I'll let you buy my coffee.
A pleasure. I would order drinks for the entire house, except I am not drunk enough. And when I reach that state, I will not have money enough.
Oh, why don't you compromise by buying a drink for that stranger at the bar? He looks lonesome.
Well, he's not lonesome. He's from Princeton. It appears the same on the surface.
You mean Princeton, Missouri?
No, Princeton, New Jersey.
New Jersey? How do you know he's from way back there?
Well, I rode into town with him on the stage. Doc, you would be amazed at the number of times in the conversation that he managed to bring this fact in.
Yeah? What's so special about Princeton, New Jersey?
Doc, the college.
Oh, yes. I remember something about a college down there. I remember them talking about it when I was up in Boston in medical school. They didn't think much of it.
Please, do not mention that in the company of Mr. Braithwaite.
Is that his name?
Harvey T. Braithwaite, 71.
Oh, no, I don't believe it. He can't be more than 30.
No, Doc, the class of 1871.
Oh.
You know, he's a very interesting man. He's the only fellow I ever heard of who carried his college diploma around like the tail of a kite.
I'd like to meet him.
Well, all right. I'll bring him over. Oh, Mr. Braithwaite.
Yes? Oh, yes. We've met, haven't we?
We were companions in misfortune on the stage. I wonder, sir, if you would join me and my friend Doc for a drink.
Doc? What, you mean a doctor?
Yes, that's right.
Well, I suppose it's a courtesy title and he's a veterinarian or perhaps the undertaker.
No, he's a real doctor. He has a diploma to prove it.
What, you mean a university man? Here?
He went to medical school in Boston. I know that.
Boston? Well, I didn't expect it. Well, I'll be glad to join you.
I got him, Doc. Mr. Braithwaite, This is Dr. Matt.
I'm pleased to make your acquaintance, Dr. Matson.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Braithwaite. Won't you sit down?
I'm really surprised to find a university man in a place like this.
Oh, well, I've been going downhill for years.
I didn't mean... I didn't
Oh, I understand. Matter of fact, I'm not really a university man. I just went through the medical school.
Well, that's something. I don't suppose you'll believe me when I tell you that I haven't run across a fellow alumnus since passing through Nashville, Tennessee.
Well, I reckon Princeton men are a bit scarce in this part of the country.
Yes, I found that out.
Can I pour you a drink, Mr. Braithwaite?
Yes, thank you. Well, gentlemen, to the tiger.
The tiger?
What tiger?
Well, there's only one, you know, the Princeton tiger.
Oh, that tiger.
Long may he roar.
Well, I'll drink to that. On those days, whiskey, I could roar myself.
I hope you don't think I'm being curious, Mr. Braithwaite, but I wonder what a man of your background is doing in the territory.
Well, Doctor. Actually, Doctor. Oh, well, it's supposed to be something of a secret.
Oh, well, never mind.
Oh, I don't mind telling you, a fellow collegian, as it were. You'll understand when I tell you my father is Alfred A. Braithwaite. He is. Of course, that makes everything clear.
Well, I suppose it does.
Transparent. Yes, doesn't it? You see, a father has been looking for outlets.
They're hard to find?
Oh, yes, very. You see, Astor's done so well with real estate, and of course there's a thick Vanderbilt crowd, so Father considered taking up with cattle.
Oh, you mean your father's a rancher?
Oh, well, not that directly. No, it's a question of whether he'll take it over.
You mean the entire cattle market?
If it's big enough. You see, there's some Chicago interests involved, and of course Father would merely buy them out.
Let me understand this, Mr. Braithwaite. Your father's in a position to buy out all the Chicago stockmen, not to mention the ranchers in his territory?
Oh, no.
Well, I didn't think so.
He wouldn't limit himself to this territory. He could hardly ignore Texas.
Oh.
Could he?
Nobody ever has.
And you see, before Father swings into operation, he wants a report.
And you're acquainted with the cattle business?
Well, not per se. We've had all the reports from the experts, you know, but Father wants the opinion of someone who, well, you'll understand what I mean when I say noblesse oblige.
No, yes, I suppose.
You see, all the experts are, well, let's face it, they're rather self-made men, you know. Father said to me, Mr. Braithwaite, in moments of great importance, he addresses me formally. Mr. Braithwaite, I want to report on the character of this business. I want to know what it looks like to an eye that's cut its teeth and speaks with the tongue of old Nassau. Father's a very forceful speaker.
I'm overwhelmed.
So I'm here to look about and report back to New York within 3 months. You will keep this confidential, won't you, Doctor?
Believe me, Mr. Braithwaite, I wouldn't dare to breathe a word of it.
Excellent. And now I must leave you gentlemen to settle into my digs at the hotel. Now, we must all three get together and exchange pleasant memories of our days on the campus. I am anxious to hear your tales of Cambridge, Doctor, and yours, sir, of the University of Heidelberg. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Braithwaite.
Luckily, he did not finish his drink.
Pablo, did you tell him that you went to the University of Heidelberg?
Oh, well, not exactly, Doc. No. I said I stayed a term at Heidelberg. I did. It was 30 days for vacancy. They have a charming 14th century jail.
Do you believe him?
Well, I would not believe him, Doc, but when I was in St. Louis last, I heard of Albert A. Braithwaite. He buys railroads like you and I buy eggs for breakfast.
But it isn't reasonable. Could old man Braithwaite honestly base a decision like this on that?
Well, would you doubt the word of a man who's on speaking terms with the tiger? Mr. Braithwaite wandered around the town of Frenchman's Ford for a few days and then hired a rig and drove out into the range with old shovel-eared Peters for a guide. It was on his return that the great argument started at the Bull Run. Randy Stewart from the Barrel A was spending 4 months' wages at the Bull Run. He had worked his way 3 weeks in when Harvey Braithwaite stepped up to the bar.
Oh, I beg your pardon, potman.
You speaking to me, mister?
Well, you are the potman, aren't you?
The name is Jose, and just 'cause I don't get to do as much riding as I used to, ain't no cause to call me no name.
But you are the publican.
This is my place.
Well, then, I could do with a bit of brandy and a splash of soda.
What do you want to go and put soda in good liquor for? Want it to rise? Like a loaf of bread?
He don't mean baking soda, O'Shea.
Huh?
He means that bottled mineral water you take when you're sick to your stomach.
Well, why don't he say so? I ain't got none.
Brandy and water, then.
As a matter of fact, I ain't got no brandy neither. Mister, you want your whiskey from the barrel or from the bottle?
Ooh, the bottle, I imagine.
You take my advice, Strange, and buy it from the barrel. It's a nickel cheaper a shot and a lay out just as quick.
Why, thank you. You're very kind.
Huh? Shucks. Nothing. Suppose we swap handles, stranger. I'm Randy Stewart from the Barrel
Oh,
A.
Harvey Braithwaite, Princeton 71.
I ain't never heard of that, Fred. Down in Texas somewhere? By the second month of Randy's pay and the third bottle of O'Shea's whiskey, and Mr. Stewart and Braithwaite were all friends.
Are you sure you don't know Skeet Stewart? I'll never forget the time he climbed the flagpole in front of the proctor's house and nailed a corset cover to the brass ball.
Hey, you know, Harvey, you're the kind of a buddy a fella wants to ride night herd with. That's what you are.
Uncanny resemblance to old Skeet. Are you sure you never went to Princeton?
The argument started when the two range companions, or call it chums, depending on which side of the conversation you were listening to, got to the point where they were telling each other things that only the best of friends should share.
Well, I'll tell you the trouble with Frenchman's Ford since you asked.
I don't remember asking nothing. O'Shea, I'll leave it to you. Did I ask anything?
Sure you did. You asked for another bottle, and I told you you had enough.
You see, now the trouble is no sport. You can't have gentlemen without sport.
What do you mean, no sport? Hey, you ain't never been to Silver Lining in Chisholm City, or you wouldn't say that. Now, that's as sporty a place as you're likely to find.
Games, no sportsmen. Now, you take, for instance, the game of baseball.
Of what?
Baseball, you know, with a bat and base runners.
What's the idea of the game? Back the runners?
You see, that's what I mean. You show me a place that can provide gentlemen a game of baseball, and I'll show you a place that is... Where was I?
I'll show you a game of baseball.
Couldn't. The room's much too small, and there are too many tables in the way.
I mean, this here town can get up a game just as good as any other place.
Doubt it?
You calling me a liar?
No. Just a prevaricator.
That's better. I ain't met nobody call me no liar. All right, I'll bet you...
Randy, hey.
You stay out of this, O'Shea.
Listen, Randy, don't bet him. I've seen his roll. He's got enough to choke him.
You stay out of this, O'Shea. I'm going to part your head the way you part your hair, right down the middle. Now, Harvey, I'll bet you this here town can get up a game of, what's that thing called?
Baseball?
Whatever it is, by Saturday.
How much?
Name your figure.
Randy, I warned you.
We'll make it a very small bet. $1,000.
Yeah.
1,000? Too small?
No, I just...
Backing out.
You calling me a vulture?
Hot man.
I told you, my
You
name
may
is-
hold the stakes. Here's my 1,000.
I ain't got it in cash, so I have to take my note.
Between old university men, a hand clasp is enough. The wager is on.
You bet your bottom dollar.
Oh, no, it was only 1,000.
And long sobriety came. Too late. Half the Now the Frenchman Ford had heard the bet, and Randy came to see Doc at noon.